How's it going, all you hubsters out there? Bo here from BZ Hub, and I tell you what, it's only been one day since we've had the new hints of an upcoming map coming out to the Hunter Call of the Wild, and with 8 days to go till we learn more about this, it seems like the community has already decided what new map this will be, and it is of course New Zealand. Everyone thinks that New Zealand is the new map coming out. I know that in the past I had thought that New Zealand was coming out sooner than what it ends up being. In fact, when they put out the horns hint, which ended up being quadricolinus, I thought it was different antlers and horns from things in New Zealand, but you know what, we had quadricolinus, then we had Silver Ridge Peaks, and now we're finally here. TK, I'm sure, is very happy, being a Kiwi himself. But yeah, let's take a look at that old clip just to show you the difference in quality of videos. And if the haka in the beginning didn't give it away, or the animals throughout this entire little presentation here, I'm talking, of course, about the land of the hobbits and the Kiwis, New Zealand. I mean, it's just a fantastic region. I mean, just look at all the cool places that we could be hunting in. There's so many different like biomes, and now we're here. So yeah, pretty interesting there. Tell you what, I do have predictions for what I think we might be looking at here for a New Zealand map, and I'm pretty excited about it. It will be interesting to see how many of the animals they put in here, but I did try to spread them out similarly to other maps that are currently out. I know that Quadricolinus is one of the largest maps as far as the animals go. They have the largest map population, I guess, of 10 different species at the moment, I want to say. And so yeah, this is kind of my breakdown for what I think we are going to see in a New Zealand map, because if they didn't do this, I feel like they would be missing out on some great species there in New Zealand. First up, starting at Class 1, would be the Euro rabbits. We just saw them added into the game, and I think we're going to see them again in New Zealand. It's a great little species. I think they're great. I remember hunting them in the Hunter Classic. When they first came out in the Hunter Classic, it was so much fun to use a pellet gun and just shoot the little rabbits as they popped out of the hole. Similar to geese, goose hunting, you can sit down and blind, you can work on your homework, you can watch a video on Netflix or something like that, and when you see that little rabbit head start moving around and whatnot, then you can go back into hunting mode and then go back to what you're doing. I think it's great. I love animals like that. It's a nice change of pace, I suppose. The next Class 1 animal I think we might see in New Zealand is the paradise duck. I do believe this is one of the most hunted ducks in New Zealand, and I think that will be an interesting new species. As far as a flying species to be hunting, it seems like they like to add in Class 1 animals of some sort, and usually they're ducks. So yeah, paradise duck is what I'm thinking. Obviously if you're thinking something different, comment down below, but we'll get to that later. Moving up to larger animals now, Class 3, I'm picturing a couple different things. First up is the SIKA deer. Now this is a new species that we haven't had in the Call of the Wild yet, and it does say shoulder height for a SIKA deer is 30 inches, so that would put it around a roe deer. A roe deer is at 33 inches, so this is honestly shorter than a roe deer, but it's going to be around that height, so that I'm guessing that would be a Class 3 animal, so that's what I'm going to go with. Class 3 SIKA deer. Pretty cool, got some antlers there. I tell you what, if you're a fan of antlers, if you're like me and you're not a big fan of grizzly bears or lions or mountain lions or black bears, all that stuff that don't really have antlers showing you the size of the animal, then this is going to be great, because this map is full of antlered and horned animals. It's going to be great for our trophy lodge. It's going to look amazing. Next up for a possible Class 3 animal is the ALPINE goats and rams. Now you could say that this could be thrown into a Class 4, given that Quadricolinus had a lot of Class 4 goats and whatnot there, but the ALPINE goats are very big for New Zealand. Wild rams, if you will. I'm sure there's some difference between there, and I'm just not from New Zealand, so I don't know the difference off the top of my head. But yeah, 30 inches at the shoulder there, another smaller animal. But yeah, seeing those wild goats going through the mountainside could be pretty cool. I certainly think anyway. And lastly, the chamois, chamois. Anywho, caribou, 31 inches at the shoulder, another class 3 animal, I'm thinking anyway. Another animal in New Zealand up in the mountains, a really pretty animal, honestly. It's got the white face with the black stripe. It's really cool, but very small. I was very surprised for being a mountain type animal like that. You know, you picture a mountain goat or another one of these animals on the list and you think that they might be pretty strong and hefty and everything, but this is actually pretty small. So yeah, the ShamWow.
You'll be saying wow every time.
31 inches, another great animal. Moving up into the class 4 animals now, another animal that we have in the game right now, Hirschfelden's own fallow deer, I think will end up being in New Zealand. I tell you what, if they end up taking off a deer to make room for other animals in New Zealand, it'll probably be the fallow deer, but I'm looking forward to another map to have a chance to get a large fallow deer. Hirschfelden's not an easy map to hunt on, and fallow deer on New Zealand, though, could be very mountainous and harder to hunt them anyway, but yeah, I'm thinking that fallow deer might be an animal we see in New Zealand, which would be great. Next up for class 4, the RUSA deer, another animal we do not have in the Hunter Call of the Wild right now, but standing at 42 inches at the shoulder on average. That's 5 inches taller than the fallow deer. I'm guessing that will be part of the class 4 animals, the RUSA deer. It's got pretty antlers. It's a pretty nice looking deer, honestly. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah. Really not much more to say. Last up for the class 4 animals is the Himalayan tahr. Now this one I think will be really cool, especially up in the mountains. You think about mountain goats and stuff like that with Silver Ridge peaks. This is going to be an animal that you see way up high. Yeah, kind of up there with the ShamWows up there in the mountains. It's going to be great. They're a really pretty animal. They have a mane almost like a lion, and then they have horns. Really cool. It's a really cool animal, and I can't wait to have it in the lodges. I think it's going to look amazing. First up, a favorite of many people, the red deer. I think we might see, well, I think we definitely will see in New Zealand. The red deer of New Zealand are renowned. They're massive. They have no natural predators, so they get to, you know, sizes that you don't see elsewhere in the world. They're just humongous. So yeah, that's definitely something I think we will see in New Zealand. But I have one thing that I really wish we could see, and it's that at Leighton Lakes we have Roosevelt elk, but at Silver Ridge Peaks we have Rocky Mountain elk. So that is the difference there between the Roosevelt elk and the Rocky Mountain elk. And then when you think of reindeer versus caribou, you know, they're very similar but obviously different. I would like to see a difference between the red deer we see in the game right now and then the red deer we see in New Zealand. They probably won't do this. I realize that they're like not like a maybe they are a subspecies. I have no idea. But it would be really nice to see, instead of just red deer, it just says, you know, New Zealand stag or something like that. I want to see a difference in these red deer that, you know, maybe they're just more massive or they have larger antlers or something like that. I feel like when you think about the maps that have moose in this game, there's lots of maps with lots of different moose. And then, you know, we're at the point now where we're having a lot of maps, and there's red deer here, there's red deer there, and there's red deer Hirschfelden, Quadriculinus, Parque Fernando, and now New Zealand. It's lots of red deer, and I want to see something different. I want to see something bigger. You know, New Zealand is known for these giant red deer. I don't want to be hunting at Hirschfelden or Quadriculinus and Parque Fernando and hunting the same red deer. I want to see bigger ones. So that's one thing that I wish that we could see, but we probably won't. It'll probably be the regular red deer. I would love to be surprised though. I would love it. Anyway, red deer, pretty cool animal. Yeah, massive in New Zealand. Looking forward to another chance to get giant red deer. And lastly, this actually shocked me because I had to like do a double take to figure out, just making sure, but it says that red deer grow to 48 inches at the shoulder, which is 4 feet at the shoulder, but the sandbar deer are 10 inches taller, 58 inches at the shoulder. Blew my mind. I was like, wow, that is a giant deer. So yeah, Last for the Class 6 animals, sandbar deer, pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of the antlers of the elk and axis deer and whatnot. You know, a giant animal with kind of so-so antlers, but it will be pretty cool to go after them, I think. But yeah, SIKA, RUSA, sandbar deer, 3 new species of deer that we might have at this map, which would be really cool. Yeah, and they look fantastic. I would love to have them in a lodge. It's gonna be really cool. One other wildcat animal that we might see in New Zealand is the wallaby. Now, I don't know for sure how this would fit in, whether it be class 1 or 2 or whatever it would be, but a wallaby would be interesting. It would definitely give New Zealand something different, a giant rat thing of some sort. I'm not sure what the closest relatives of a kangaroo wallaby is, but yeah, that would be interesting. That would certainly set New Zealand in its own league there, and it's something we were kind of expecting from kangaroos and wallabies in Australia, but yeah, that would certainly be an oddball species to see in New Zealand. But that's it for what I think we will be seeing at this map as far as the animals are concerned. To go through it one more time: Class 1 Euro rabbits and paradise duck, Class 3 SIKA deer, Alpine goats, wild rams, and the chamois goats. Class 4 fallow deer, RUSA deer, Himalayan TAHR there, and then shooting up to Class 6 sandbar deer and red deer. I think that's going to make up our map. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 species right there. They could cut out one of them. Might not have the chamois, might not have the fallow deer to cut down on some of the species there, but that is my ideas. And I know that the only reason I think they might be adding ducks and rabbits is because of the darn crossword hint that they put out, which showed both a duck and a rabbit there. Could have been a goose. I doubt it. I don't know. Could be a goose. I have no idea. But there is a rifle there, which is what we're going to go into next. What sort of weapons do we think might come out with this new map? And I have 2 ideas that I know a lot of people have been wanting, at least for the first one, and that is the 308 bolt action. I think that when you look at weapons that are used a lot in New Zealand, the 308 is one of those that is used a lot. I was reading how different guide outfitters and stuff like that will that'll be their weapons that, if people were to fly into New Zealand and didn't bring any firearms with them, the 308 is what they would use, because that's just what they have on hand and that's what they recommend their clients to use. So yeah, 308 bolt action. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who are excited about that. The only thing similar to it is the Solo King 7.62, but it's an older weapon. It's 7.62. It doesn't say 308, and Americans don't understand that evidently. So 308 bolt action I think would be a great option there. And lastly, another thing that we might see is the 7mm 08. I think, it's kind of a different one, but it's one of those firearms that I was seeing a lot of people recommending for New Zealand, and we only have the break open 7mm in the game, so I think a bolt action 7mm 08 would be really interesting. Kind of a necked down 308 to accept a 7mm bullet is basically what that rifle casing is. So yeah, pretty interesting there. But I tell you what, that's just what I'm thinking. Animals and the weapons that we might see in New Zealand. I'm guessing it's going to be mountainous. I'm guessing it's going to be really pretty. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to New Zealand. I was looking forward to Australia, but you know what? We'll have another chance at some other point, guys. We'll get them someday. We'll see that Australian map someday. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up, everyone. Comment down below what you think animals, weapons you might see in this New Zealand map. Are you even sold that it will be a New Zealand map? That would be certainly interesting, but I tell you what, yeah, I'm excited, and I hope you're excited, and tell me down below what you think, because that'll be great. If the video was helpful, or if you found it entertaining whatsoever, please hit that like button and subscribe. I've seen the stats, guys. Only 27% of you are subscribed. What is that about, huh? What is that? 27%? It's free. Hit the subscribe button, guys. It's a great, BZ Hub is a fantastic channel. Don't you know? Haven't you heard? The bird is the word. But yeah, definitely appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and hopefully we see you at our live stream 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Central, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Check out the Discord, link in the description for more information on our stream schedule. And lastly, one fun announcement for tomorrow, hoping to get it out by tomorrow. Announcement tomorrow about a new series coming, hopefully I'm very excited about. So yeah, look forward to that, if not later on, but it'll happen one way or another, everyone. That's gonna do it. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you at our next live stream. And as always, remember everyone, we're one planet, one family, game on.